All right, so we're here to talk about something really important. Tesla is making big moves, and by big moves, I mean moving into a new market that today doesn't sell Tesla vehicles. And that market is India. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, we're going to talk about that. And yes, I know there's plenty of jokes and memes about, will autopilot work on the streets there? Can Indians afford Teslas? And are you going to hit a cow in the road? Jokes and memes aside, this is really big news. And I thought, what better way to explain it better and understand how momentous this is than local feet on the ground. So with me, I've got Arun and Nikhil. They are actually the founders of the Unofficial Tesla Club in India. They're actually the ones that broke this news as soon as they discovered it and have been pushing the effort to get Tesla to India since the beginning. It's been quite a long time. So let's start with that. Nikhil, tell me about you guys' club and how you guys came together and how you've been pushing this forward to where it is today.
Thanks, Raj, for inviting us here. In the January of 2019, I wrote an open letter to Elon, which was published in Inside EV. And I think around that time, I met Arun on Twitter. For me, it was hard to find people that are crazy about Tesla in India, but Arun was among them. We chatted, then we shared things, and I got to know that he's Model 3 reservation holder also, which was amazing for me. Then there is program called Tesla Owners Club, and I was seeing some owners club like Silicon Valley, because I think just getting started, you are on it. So I thought that will someone do something like that here? Will there be platform in India where someone can share things, all things Tesla can share the same enthusiasm? I thought to start it, and I asked Arun that should we do it. He said that yeah, let's do it. We should do that together. So the club was formed on 7 March 2019, and then the story started from there. We started asking Elon, and then we kept pushing for it. And in general, we kept pushing for all EVs because that's what the Tesla mission is. Accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy. So we push all EVs, but we want Tesla also. So Raj, in October of 2020, we got two reply from Elon. The first one was next year for sure, and the second one was configurator opening around January. And believe me and Arun went crazy at that time. We had a hard time believing that Elon is telling us that Tesla is coming next year for sure. Elon has earlier said to that he will try in 2020, but this time was more of a concrete one that yes, they are coming next year for sure.
Okay, so uh, fast forward to today. Just a couple days ago, we heard the big news, and actually, it wasn't even news because Tesla didn't even put it out. Actually, you guys uncovered this information and published it, and that's kind of where everything started from. So all the articles and everything stemmed from what you guys were able to find. So talk me through that, right? How did you guys find this information? What got up to this date of Tesla finally making everything official, right? Tell me about that.
I think on 30th of December, Arun found out that on the Ministry of Corporate website, there are two Tesla companies listed. There are many Tesla companies listed. Every company having name Tesla is listed, but two companies stick out. One was Tesla India Motors and Energy Private Limited. Second one was Tesla Energy Private Limited. So I think that motor was one was legit, but there was nothing more information about that. And a couple of days ago, I thought to check it again. So I looked at the Tesla India Motors and Energy Private Limited. It was showing of date January 8, 2021, Karnataka, India. I was like, damn it, that's here. On the website, there's a thing called company master data. I put the CIN number there, found out all the detail. I found out all the details. It was showing that, oh, they have an address. They have three directors. I was like, oh my God, they are here. They are here. I I then texted Arun that, see, that they are here. Then Arun thought that let's check it out if it's legit. Arun found out all the details about the three directors that were listed. Then he found out about the address that was listed. And I think Arun can tell us more about the directors and the address where it is.
So, as Nikhil told, once we found out, we did a little digging up of who the directors are, what they're into, and just wanted to make sure that before we put out this info, it is not the wrong info that we put out. So, we did a research. The three directors were Vaibhav Taneja, Venkat Sriram, and David Feinstein. So made us realize that this is the legit company that we are looking at. We were a little skeptical looking at the name because it was Tesla Motors India and Energy. So we just wanted to be sure. Then the third director, Venkat Sriram, we gather from the other reports, we didn't find out. From the other reports, we found out that he was a general manager in Tesla China who looked at expanding the service and sales network there. I think this was in 2014 to 2016. Once we found out, we were really happy and we put out in detail what was the things and where is the address, where is the building that they put out. The registered office is in the Bangalore Central Business District, a road called Lavelle Road. So it's a posh locality with all the corporate offices and showrooms. In fact, the building has a Lexus showroom on the ground floor.
That's an amazing find. I mean, great job keeping your ears to the street and learning about this information and sharing it, because I think every news article and everyone across the globe saw, read, and learned about this from your guys' find. Now, I think looking forward, obviously we saw Tesla registering Tesla Energy and Tesla Motors. What do you think? I mean, primarily my audience is a lot of U.S. audience, and a lot don't have all the information and background to India, or why is this important? So if we're looking at these two businesses from Tesla, what do you guys think is the most important for India, right? Is it going to be Tesla Energy, or is it going to be Tesla Motors?
See, for India per se, the energy vertical will be the predominant driving force towards the finance, the investments that they'll go in for initially, because that is where the market is right now. It's going to be quite a big deal for India and Tesla. India is putting out a lot of reverse auction for solar, wind, and these are called hybrid auctions. So what basically these are big mega megawatt hour capacities that they're looking at. So what the reverse auctions specify is, other than say if 100 megawatt hour is the project of solar and wind that is going to come up, they have specified a certain battery storage that is required to stabilize the grid. See, now there are a lot of peaker plants right now which are coal fired, which are very costly to run. So the entire idea here is sun doesn't shine at night, neither does wind blow always. So to smoothen the grid and the irregularities in renewable energy production, they have specified a certain battery storage that will be required at the feeding station. So this will act like the so Tesla can have a very big part to play in this, like in Australia, what they did with their mega packs. So that will be a big market to address. And second thing is, though the local grid and the grid stability is very much improved now, today, as of today, India is a surplus energy manufacturer. The consumption, energy generation far outweighs the consumption in India. And we're exporting to our neighboring countries like Nepal and Bhutan. We do that. So in the future, as energy requirement goes up, I think the smaller power packs also will make a lot of sense. Or maybe a vehicle to grid, which is will be really attractive for Indians, because vehicle to grid will take away the requirement of a power pack. So a smaller power pack, the existing power pack is too big for Indian average consumption. So maybe a smaller 5 or 6 kilowatt hour power pack, and mega pack maybe 80% of the demand there.
Almost all new house construction are going with solar right now. I'm seeing here in my hometown. Almost every new house that is being constructed is having solar. And I think that if there was some good energy battery storage, people would have gone for it. Right now, it's mostly lead acid batteries, which they are not great. If there was some 3 to 4 hour, 4 kilowatt hour power wall from Tesla or some other, I think it would have been great here too.
The auto market is prevalent, but again, it will be a very niche luxury market that they will focus on initially. Without having a local assembly plant, they cannot even look further than the luxury market to begin with. So the main competitors there will be the Germans, three Germans, the Jaguars of the world. So that will be the competition, but it may not be an actual competition. But will be that market will be the target segment for Tesla to begin with. And I, being a 2016 reservation holder, I'm damn happy that 5 years down the line, I'm finally have put my hands on my Tesla.
Absolutely. I think that with a lot of people focusing a lot of effort and focus on cars because it's cool and it's what you see, to what you said in India, it seems that energy can have a huge impact and an actual bigger impact than what cars can have. So, that was, I think, some really good insight that I know I myself did not know. So appreciate that. Now, going into the car side, let's debunk some of these myths, some of these jokes that some people are putting out there, just to kind of, clear the misunderstanding that, how is autopilot going to work on Indian roads? Can Indians afford Teslas? Are you going to hit a cow on the road? Come on now. I mean, I think, what do you guys have to say about those kind of, comments, right? How do we, what is the truth in India as far as, when it comes to these kind of myths?
But the infrastructure is lacking in certain aspects, but the highway infrastructure is really world class as of today. The in city infrastructure does lag a bit compared to other countries. So, small truth in what the memes show, but it's not as bad as they say. Anybody can hit a deer on the road in Canada. Similarly, probably they'll encounter a cow in India, so nobody will honk at a cow. They'll wait for it to pass on. That is true to a certain extent, but it's exaggerated as
I
memes
think
do.
that we cannot generalize whole India. You go from city to city, things change. What car people are buying, how they are living, everything changed from place to place. It's people generalize it. That's it's India, or that's it's how going to be. No, it's not going to be the life.
And I think that's a completely valid and very important point is that, in India, are there going to be, areas of the country that are at a lower income bracket than other areas? Sure. Are there going to be some areas that are not going to have, a great infrastructure road wise? Sure. But to what you said, Arun, there are major highways that are done that will work, and there are going to be areas of people able to afford Model 3, Model S, Model X, and then there's going to be some areas that maybe a Model 2, a lower price 25K vehicle might be better suited for. But that goes back to that in India, it seems to me, and it seems to what you guys are saying, is that energy really takes the top priority in being able to have a much bigger impact today over vehicles. Now, with that being said, let's tap into the vehicle pricing, right? So right now we've got the Model 3, right? And so, what is that still probably the most ideal vehicle for India to have and would do well with?
The main thing that we need to focus on there is the competition is from the Germans and Jaguars. So those are very highly taxed, even though they are assembled in India. Mercedes has its own assembly plant, BMW does, or so does Audi, but they are heavily taxed as they come under the luxury segment. But any EV today enjoys a 5% GST compared to a 28% or a 40% in some cases GST tax for an ICE vehicle. So that distinction has been kept. Second thing is road taxes. There's a 20% road tax on any car about 20 lakh is close to around $30,000, whereas for an EV, road tax is waived off.
Yeah,
Example, Mercedes introduced the EQC. They introduced only they didn't know how market would react, so introduced it at 1 crore Indian rupees, which is equivalent to around $140,000. They allocated only 50 units to India, and all of them have been sold off within the first week.
Yeah, those are great points. I mean, just understanding that there is more than just the price of the vehicle, right? There's road taxes, like you talked about, and so forth, that can greatly affect the price of the vehicle. And still, vehicles like the Mercedes that you talked about still sold despite it being a very, very expensive car in India. So, and that's not even to take into account duties. We haven't even talked about duties. I mean, for right now, Tesla's just registered the company in India to actually sell and do work there, but that is not a factory, so they will not be manufacturing cars in India. Those cars will probably still be coming from Shanghai and will thus be subject to duties, right?
In India, import duties are about 60% for cars less than $40,000 and 100% for cars above $40,000. So Model 3 SR Plus is less than $40,000. So let's say that 60% of added import duties plus some other taxes we may be unaware of. But the thing is, it will have only 5% of sales tax minimum compared to what internal combustion will pay. They will pay 30 to 50% of sales tax plus 20% of road tax, which Tesla won't. Tesla will just pay 5% of GST, and many states have waived off road tax. So, a Model 3 SR Plus, even when imported, it will come in competition with BMW 3 Series, Audi A3 or A4. Arun knows more about that. So, it still is going to be competitive with the German.
Yeah, totally, Nikhil. I think, understanding, the pricing from what, Arun brought up on, incentives and so forth and savings on tax. And then also to what you brought up is, the duty fees, they all kind of balance each other out. I think it's very apparent that Model 3 SR Plus is going to be, the vehicle that Tesla starts with in India. It's going to make the most sense. And I think then looking from there, just understanding that that's the right vehicle to start with. But for those of us that are not very familiar with India, and maybe Arun, you're the right person to tap into here, is, what kind of market is Tesla tapping into? Like, let's just start with, the size of India. How many people we're dealing with that essentially Tesla is tapping into by bringing its vehicles to India?
The first thing that I'd like to point out is that Tesla is an aspirational brand. There's no two points about that. So that the Tesla stretch is as good as it's going to be anywhere else in the world. So people will push a few $1,000s more and would rather prefer always updating Tesla, always improving Tesla than have something. See, I own a Kona Electric right now because I couldn't get Tesla till now. So I have sold off all my ICE cars. I do not own any ICE car right now. I'm reasonably happy with the Kona, but of course it is a way bigger step down compared to a Tesla. We are a 1.3 billion population, strong population and growing. And the youth population, that is anyone who is below 40 years of age, is the highest in the world, the net population. And most of these are, most of us are educated, aspirational, and are looking for a better way of life. So that itself is the target market that Tesla will look at in the future. It may not be the target market right now, but again, see, Apple did a big mistake in not having a local assembly plant. See, iPhone 12 Pro costs $2,000 in India, even today. You tell me if it would cost the same as in US, the total addressable market would have been at least 5x. So that is the difference that Tesla is also going to face. Initial imports will only cater to the top segment of Indian market who are going to look at luxury products, and the aspirational India will require a local assembly plant, because just the Model 3 with local assembly and without local assembly, the difference is close to $20,000.
And Arun, I think you're dead accurate on that. That the target audience for Tesla, whether they know it or not, is this next generation. I remember back, I was driving and I was in a parking lot, and a kid stuck his head out the window and told me, "A cool car," or he said, "No, I really like your Tesla." That's right. And I was shocked that he knew what car it was. I mean, I remember being that age, and the only cars that I knew were Lamborghinis and Ferraris, cars that were completely unaffordable. And he knew that, and so my response to him was, "Thanks. What are you going to get when you grow up?" And he said a Cybertruck. So not only did he know Tesla, he knew the next, model that was coming out. So I thought that was really impactful to show you that this is the target audience for Tesla. And I think that, you highlighting that that target audience is huge in India is going to be significant for them. With that being said, there's, of course, Tesla right now doesn't have too much competition. I commend you for going EV with your Kona Electric. And I think that you would probably be best to answer this question regarding, charging infrastructure. Obviously, Tesla coming to India, they're going to have to think about charging infrastructure. You have an EV. So, what does the charging infrastructure in India look like today? How hard do you think that will be to build out? And do you sense that, it's going to be a challenge for, India or for Tesla on this?
Raj, there are two parts to this that we need to look at. India is a completely different country because the population density is much higher. So usually even the intercity travels are not very huge distances. Say for US, say you would travel 500, 600 miles a day. In a day that you would travel, you'd require the superchargers on the highways to at least charge once or twice along the way. Whereas in India, the average distance that one travels, again, there may be exceptions here, but on an average will be 300 to 350 kilometers, which is around 200 miles a day. So it's a vast difference there that we are looking at. And we are literally amazed to see people in the US travel thousands of miles a day. In some cases, it probably would require 3 or 4 days in India, looking at the traffic and the population density that we have. So that is point number one. Second point is, with Tesla, even the standard range plus will have 400 kilometers and plus. So that is, I think, around 220 miles. So for the daily travel, it is absolutely no issue, because either you can charge at your office or at your home. And there's a lot of traction right now from the government, state governments and the central governments towards creating EV infrastructure. There's a lot of subsidy that is being provided. Then there is no special approval required. Anybody can put in a charging station. There is no approval required at all. I myself, and as an individual, can go and put up a charging station and supply it give it as a service to EV owners. So all the barriers to putting a charging station have been removed. Point number one. Second point, since the distances traveled are much lower, the charging infrastructure creating in India will be very easy, because say in US, to cover from the East Coast to West Coast would require X number of chargers. In India, the East Coast to West Coast would require probably X by 3. So that is another point to look at.
Yeah, so it sounds like, with the government support, that Tesla shouldn't really have too much of an issue expanding out a charging infrastructure in India. And it sounds like chargers and infrastructure it can come very quickly in India and support this EV movement very fast. I mean, I think about how China was able to implement their charging infrastructure very fast, very quick, very efficiently. So I could see that happening in India the same way. Now, with all of this said, there's this hype, right? This Tesla in India hype. Obviously, you guys are a part of it. You guys are feet on the street, running the account, the Unofficial Tesla Club of India account. You guys have the website, you have the Twitter account. You guys are getting responses from Elon. So of course, your hype is there. But what about the general India hype, the general, consensus of Indian residents of Tesla? Are they just as excited? Is the hype really there? I think as investors and people, reading about this and seeing this, it's something that you kind of want to know, right? Is the hype extend out to everyone?
We gauge it by the engagement that we get when we communicate with others. Two things there. One is the Twitter engagement is really good right now in India because many of us are exclusively on Twitter for Elon and Tesla. That is a driving force that got us onto Twitter. Point number two is all our relatives, anybody in the world who knows that I have a reservation, keep sending me the links. Whenever Elon says next year for sure, I get 50 forwards. Then when we in fact put out the information about the company being registered, I get again 50 lakh links back from all my relatives and friends saying that, oh, have you had a look at this? So it's really fun. And the media coverage too is indicative of this, because a small story like this and a non-existent company in India is attracting so much focus, right from the chief minister of Karnataka who welcomed Elon, then deleted, probably waiting for an official announcement, to the road and infrastructure minister in India who told that Tesla will surely start selling the cars. So right from the biggest level in the executive to the bureaucracy, we are in touch with few of the bureaucrats also who are dealing with Tesla and other things. So there's a lot of traction, and there's a lot of interest, there's a lot of hype, and this is hype with some substance, because people are really looking at Tesla to be in the forefront of the EV revolution in India. They need to lead the EV revolution in India. Only then they can push the other guys also to come along. Otherwise, there is a lot of lethargy. There's a lot of wait and see approach, which is really hampering the EV growth in India. Once Tesla comes in, I think they are going to really pull the other guys to buckle up and be ready, or just lose the market share. As soon as the 25,000 or the 20,000, I don't know what will be the range, the next model comes in that Elon put out on battery day. If that comes in, really that will strike a nerve in India and probably capture a very big market that people outside India do not even understand right now. All of my friends who either are working for the big internet companies or any of, they are literally waiting for that car and saving up from today. And second point there is, India has lot of Tesla equity investors already. If you can just Google and see, I myself am a big investor in my own capacity, but I know many people who are interested and they want to be part of the journey. If we cannot be part of the journey buying a car right now, at least we want to be part of the journey being a shareholder. That is the thought process that is going on.
Yeah, so it sounds like the hype is real. Plenty of hype, plenty of support from the people in India, the government in India. Tesla is coming. It is very real. I mean, I think back at when you guys first put out that tweet asking Elon, when are you coming to India? And he responded next year. And then he just followed up to that tweet just the other day and said, as promised, thus confirming what you guys found was not officially released by Tesla. You guys put it out there, and Elon responded as promised. So it is real. It is happening. Tesla is coming to India. This is awesome, awesome news. Thanks, guys, for the insider, information and for a closer look and understanding of what this actually means to India and to Tesla. Now, again, thanks for being the feet on the ground there, for running the accounts. For those of you watching that are really interested in following this journey, knowing all about the Tesla in India movement and them coming in there and everything, I highly suggest you follow Tesla Club IN on Twitter, as well as their website, teslaclub.in, for more information. Awesome blog posts by both Arun and Nikhil. Great information you guys are providing. Thank you guys so much for everything.